When it comes to performance driving, most people think about horsepower, and they're not wrong. But in a Campania T-Rex and other auto cycles, your shoes matter more than your engine, because the wrong pair of shoes turns smooth driving into why am I braking and accelerating at the same time? I mean, this isn't a wear whatever you grabbed by the door situation. Welcome back, T-Rex and Auto Cycle family. Let's talk about it. The cockpit is pretty tight, like intentionally tight, and the pedal box feels less like a car and more like something engineered by someone who doesn't believe in wasted space or even extra millimeters. Short pedal travel, immediate response, no wasted motion. And suddenly, your shoes matter. Not in a fashion sense, but in a, can I physically operate this machine without accidentally braking and throttling at the same time kind of way? Because believe me, I've tried it. I love Doc Martens, great boots, built like you might need to survive a small apocalypse. But in a T-Rex, they turn your foot into a multi-tool. You might just end up pressing all three pedals at once, which is efficient, just not in the way that you want. So yeah, shoe choice matters. And there are a lot of options. Too many, honestly. So instead of pretending there's one perfect answer, I broke it into 4 categories based on what actually matters here: functionality, comfort, style, and durability. Because the best shoe on paper isn't always the one you'll actually want to live with. I mean, think about it. I'm guessing that you don't want to walk into a restaurant looking like you just left a pit lane. The first category is racing shoes. This is the obvious one. Sparco, Alpine Star, G-Force, OMP, Simpson, the full race catalog. They all have a shoe to pick from. And on paper, this makes perfect sense. Got a thin sole, excellent pedal feel, designed specifically for driving. Some even have that rounded heel that makes transitions smoother without you really noticing it. And the thing that really separates them from most of the other shoe is that they're fire resistant, which is reassuring in a very specific kind of scenario. But in real life, they're very committed. You can wear them out, technically, but you'll look like you're either about to set a lap time or explain one. Prices run anywhere from about $90 to $500, depending on how serious you want to get. And they're probably the best pure driving option, but they're just not always the most practical. At a close second, and basically the same shoe except not fireproof, are wrestling shoes. Now this is where things start to get interesting. Brands like Asics and Adidas make these in the $30 to $70 range. They're lightweight, thin soles, flexible, and they weren't designed for driving at all, which is exactly why they work. They give you great pedal feel, they're narrow enough for tight spaces, and they don't scream, I just came from the racetrack. The downside, durability can vary, and depending on the style, they can lean a little gym class looking. Still, for the price, they're kind of hard to beat. The third is martial arts shoes. Now this one feels a little unexpected, but it makes sense when you think about it. TKD shoes, boxing shoes, Tai Chi shoes, usually between $20 and $90. They're minimalist, they're flexible, they're built for movement and precision, not bulk, which translates surprisingly well to a tight pedal box. The trade-off is structure. You're not getting much support or protection, but if your priority is control and simplicity, they do the job, and they do it quietly. Fourth is the traditional lifestyle shoes, and this is where most people want to land. Something like the Puma Speedcat, the Adidas Samba, or the Onitsuka Tiger, they all look really good. You can wear them anywhere, and they still offer relatively thin soles and decent control. They're not as purpose-built as racing shoes, but they're also not trying to be. This is the balance category, and honestly, for a lot of people, this is where the decision ends. Now here's the slightly frustrating part, because after trying all of these, my favorite shoe isn't technically on the list. Enter stage left, the Merrell Trail Glove 4. And if you know, you know. It has everything. Thin sole, great feel, flexible, durable, actually comfortable to walk in, and somehow it doesn't look out of place outside of the vehicle. I even found a pair that matches the accent color of my T-Rex, which feels unnecessary, but also completely necessary. The problem? They don't make them anymore. They moved on to newer versions, the TG5, 6, 7, and 8, and for whatever reason, they just don't hit the same. The TG4 was one of those rare designs where everything lined up perfectly. So if you find a pair, don't hesitate, just buy them. Maybe 2. For the rest of us, there is a solid alternative to the TG4. It's the Innovate Bear XF210 V3. Very similar in concept. Minimalist, great control. The only thing it really lacks is that rounded heel, which actually does make a difference when you're transitioning between pedals quickly, but even some of the more expensive race-specific shoes omit this option, so it's not a deal breaker. But it's close. Close enough that it earns the top spot, at least for right now. So if I had to rank them, this is what it would look like. I am an eat dessert first guy, so I'm going to start with my number 1 pick, the Innovate Bear XF210 V3 or the Trail Glove 4 if you can find one. Second on the list is the Puma Speed Cat, followed by the Adidas Samba, the Asics wrestling shoe. Our first racing shoe doesn't hit the list until number 5, the Sparco racing shoe, followed by the Adidas TKD, the Onitsuga Tiger, the Alpine Star racing shoe, the Adidas wrestling shoe, and finally, the Tai Chi shoe. And yeah, that list probably sounds more about real-world use than pure performance, because this is where things get a little philosophical. The best shoe depends on what the T-Rex is to you. If it's a track machine, then racing shoes make the most sense. If it's something you actually live with, drive to dinner, take out on the weekends, park somewhere people ask questions about, then the answer shifts. Function matters, but so does context. Because whether you're in a T-Rex, a Slingshot, a Vanderhall Venice, or even a Morgan three-wheeler, you're always balancing two things: performance and the experience around it. And usually, the best choice lives somewhere in the middle. So whatever you end up choosing, make sure it works for how you actually drive, not just how it looks on paper, because the right gear really does make a difference. Look good, ride good. Comment below with your favorite shoe to wear in your auto cycle, but no matter what's on your feet, remember to be nice and ride safely. I'll see you on the next one.